AITAH for calling off my wedding after my fiancé's surprise gift? By big_owl_9918. So I, 30F, have been engaged to my fiancé Mark, 32M, for about a year, and we've been together for 3 years. I've always known Mark to be a bit unconventional. He's very creative and sometimes takes things a little too far in the name of surprise or excitement. Most of the time, I love his adventurous spirit, but this time, not so much. A couple of weeks ago, we had a small get-together with some close friends to celebrate our upcoming wedding. Mark had mentioned that he had a surprise for me, which I figured would be something sweet, like a heartfelt gift or maybe a romantic gesture. Well, as the night went on, after a few drinks, Mark finally revealed his quote. He pulled out what looked like a box from a special jewelry store. My heart raced with excitement as I assumed it was a lovely bracelet or a special memento for our wedding day. But when he opened the box, I was absolutely stunned. Inside was a key to a house he supposedly bought for us. I was taken aback because I had no idea he was even looking for real estate. My first reaction was one of shock and confusion, as I thought it was a huge decision that we should have discussed together. As I processed the moment, I realized the house wasn't just any house. It was a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town. Now, I get that it can be a great investment, but this particular house needed a ton of work. I'm talking major renovations and repairs, and I honestly had no desire to live there. Mark had not consulted me at all before making this purchase, and I felt blindsided. Normally, I would be overjoyed about investing in our future together, but the fact that he had made such a significant commitment without me crushed me. I quietly took the key and told him we needed to talk about this. As we stepped outside, I expressed how hurt I felt that he had made such a big decision without discussing it with me first, and that it felt like a violation of trust. Mark got defensive and insisted that this was a wonderful surprise, a way for us to start our lives together. He said I was missing the bigger picture and that I should be excited about our future. Honestly, I just felt overwhelmed and confused. I told him I didn't think we were ready for this and that we should focus on our wedding first. After a heated argument, I made the gut-wrenching decision to call off the wedding. Mark was devastated, and our friends were shocked. I had just ruined what was supposed to be a happy night, and I felt horrible. Since then, Mark has been trying to reach out, saying he wishes we could talk it over. But I can't shake the feeling that he disrespected my feelings and my input in our relationship. I've been reflecting on whether I overreacted. AITAH for calling off the wedding after his surprise gift.
Top comment by Chef Rack 225 days ago. NTA. I'm divorced now, but when my ex-husband and I were married, we lived in an apartment together. We wanted to move into a house and he found one he fell in love with. I disagreed. It needed way too much work. Didn't have central heat/air, only had a wood stove. It smelled awful because the previous tenants had let their hunting dogs stay locked in one of the rooms. The owner had a large area we weren't allowed in because he had things stored there, etc. He agreed with the owner to have us move in anyway without telling me. I told him he at least needed to get everything in writing. We were supposed to be doing rent to own. The owner was a wealthy man, but told us we could pay a reduced amount if we fixed up the property. I had concerns about this because we had a one-yo at the time, and both worked full-time, opposite shifts. We were also living paycheck to paycheck. Well, he didn't get anything in writing, just got the keys and started fixing it up himself. Again, without telling me. We ended up putting way too much money into this house. Only ended up living there for about a year. Our relationship never really recovered after that. I posted this long-ass comment to say, never stay with somebody who is willing to do whatever they want without consulting you. It doesn't work out, and you will always resent them. Someone responds to top comment by Valkyrie at Dawn 224 days ago. Yup, my soon-to-be ex-husband bought a house without my knowledge before we got married. How did he tell me this? By saying we were just going to look at another house. We had been house shopping. And lo and behold, his parents and some of their friends are all there when he tells me it's our house. Half an hour away from where I had expressly stated I wanted to live, which put my commute at an hour and his at 11 minutes. In the middle of farmland with zero privacy and 15 feet off a busy road, I spent 10 miserable years in that house, slowly renovating it, which was pretty well the only thing I was happy about, that there was work to be done, which he hated because he viewed it as me unfairly raising the value of our home. He believed if I left I shouldn't get anything because he paid the mortgage. He was completely blown away that I wasn't happy driving 2 hours a day on top of the rest of our issues, and couldn't understand why I wouldn't want to live there forever. It was high on the list of reasons I left. Major purchases are not surprises. Full stop. NTA. A reply to the previous reply by Reliot 15,224 days ago. Good for you for leaving. Internet stranger over here is super proud of you, White Heart.
Someone responds to top comment by deleted 225 days ago. Removed.
Follow-up in the thread by Janner Nanner 13,224 days ago. People take for granted how important respect is in a relationship, let alone a marriage/partnership. Without it, the relationship is doomed. Someone responds to top comment by Nikia 1,224 days ago. This sounds like my relationship with my 29F ex-wife. I'm M32, a strong believer in compromising. She was not. When it came time to find a house, she legitimately tossed aside all of my wants and concerns. I just sucked it up. I let her pick the house, and I got berated nonstop for the following year as I flipped the house with her dad. I was working full-time, in college part-time, and flipping the house in the remaining time I had. She also wanted me to get a part-time job as well while doing all of this. She made more money, so I was just expected to make the same amount, and somehow quickly. She was never like this when we dated, but I knew I messed up after I let her get her way with the house. That was the start of the end. Though I'm extremely happy to be on my own in a condo now, I will never be with someone that can't compromise. Someone responds to top comment by Brother Who 2,224 days ago. NTA. So many times reading about people that doubt themselves, but are being gaslit by others, and they come to this sub for refuge. So new term, not the asshole refugee. NTAR. Continuing the conversation by NCBSPED 224 days ago. You definitely did the right thing. You need a partner, not a one-man band. Reply number 5 to top comment by Flip Daily 225 days ago. That was physically painful to read.
Someone responds to top comment by Raven Reed 225 days ago. This is the answer. I wish I knew this sooner.
Comment number 2 by Lucky Individual 460,225 days ago. NTA. Terrible judgment on Mark's part. But what I find the real problem here was his response when you pointed out the obvious. He argued with you. The light bulb did not go on with him that you don't make decisions like this without the other person. This is a sign that he will surprise you with a new puppy, his brother moving into your house, that he has quit his job and took out a loan to start a family business, and then argue with you when you say this should have been discussed prior. Plus, a fixer sounds hideous. Someone responds to comment number 2 by the Brontosaurus 225 days ago. We had to move cross-country for my husband's job, and he picked the house we bought. The only reason I wasn't wary was because we'd been married 10 years. He came home and was so excited about how great the kitchen was, and the living room is so sunny, and there was a corner in our bedroom that would be a great reading nook. These are not things he cares about at all. He was excited because he knew I would like them.
Continuing the conversation by Construction No 9678225 days ago. That's really sweet. Your comment highlights one of the biggest problems with this whole story. Not only did Mark completely skip the chance for OP to say what she wanted, but he didn't actually consider her needs when buying the house. A few questions come to mind for me, like, how much of a commute is it from the house to OP's place of work compared to where they are currently living? Is OP willing and able to pour the time and money needed into a fixer-upper? Is it actually safe to live there right now? Where will they stay during some of the bigger renovations? Adventures are nice, but when you're trying to find a place to live, you have to consider the needs of both people in the relationship. Mark is only out for himself. Follow up in the thread by Captain Quoth 225 days ago. Some A+ communication happening. Follow up in the thread by Anonymous_opinions 225 days ago. My mother bought a 200-year-old fixer-upper to move her middle school children into, and my entire life was spent doing manual labor in a money pit. I never want to live in a house that's under construction for 7 years. It was never finished.
Continuing the conversation by Faithful_Hummingbird 225 days ago. That's the sweetest. Smiling face, I also picked/purchased our house without my wife seeing it, besides a few photos. But we had also had many conversations about our likes, wants, and dislikes in houses, so we both felt comfortable with me picking our new house in a new state/city. We both got pretty much everything we wanted in a house in Amp neighborhood. It truly comes down to open communication, many discussions, and being on the same page about things. We've been in our new house for almost 5 years and we love it so much. Follow up in the thread by bitterdo-gooder 225 days ago. And you sent him knowing he was making that choice for the both of you. It's one thing to delegate this function, and 10 years of marriage would make that possible for me. It's another thing to take it away from your partner. Reply number 2 to comment number 2 by _man 2012 225 days ago. As another comment said, real life is not like a movie. In a marriage, there shouldn't be anything that huge that is a surprise. You need to consult your spouse for something that affects your financial well-being. I agree, at the end, this may not be the last big surprise he gives. You will be blindsided that he quit his job and he invested all your money in crypto.
Follow up in the thread by Rabbit Jellybean 225 days ago. Hell, even the engagement ring design shouldn't be much of a surprise. You don't give someone something long-term without their input.
Someone responds to comment number 2 by deleted 225 days ago. Exactly. Mark wasn't just signing OP up for a huge financial obligation she never asked for, but a chaotic, dirty, messy few years of life and a fixer-upper. Not everyone is excited by that. He took away her autonomy and demanded she be excited about it. My heart would have sunk, just like OP's. NTA, and maybe this was just the wake-up OP needed.
A reply to the previous reply by Adembarrassed 9719225 5 days ago. And he did so at the exact time where, in the US at least, materials costs are almost certainly about to increase by quite a bit. A surprise is supposed to be delightful. Like if they had been looking at houses and had found the perfect one, but just missed putting in an offer before it went off the market, and the realtor had called him and told him the previous offer fell through, that would be a nice surprise. Something he knew she was okay with and would have wanted, and was disappointed to have missed out on. Not a random house she'd never seen that's going to require years of difficult, annoying work she never signed up to do. And then he argued about it? Nope.
A reply to the previous reply by Echo Azure 225 days ago. And I doubt he put her name on the deed. So if the house is in his name, he's expecting the OP to put in years of effort and struggle to a house she doesn't co-own. Definitely dump-worthy.
A reply to the previous reply by Livy Love 225 days ago. Exactly. Like it's obvious she never really showed much interest in that being her life. It would be one thing if it was a house she had specificity said she loved, and she wanted to live there one day and dreamed about it. Then that would have been an amazing surprise. But, nah, this was not it.
Follow up in the thread by caffeinated_panda 225 days ago. Yes, better to receive this gift now than after the honeymoon. OP is not financially on the hook for this craziness, and can still make a clean break from her fiancé. Reply number 4 to comment number 2 by Lamprofonia 225 days ago. Even a house that's in perfectly good condition is going to need expensive repairs randomly. I had to burn like $700 after owning my place for all of 6 months, because no one who lived here before me bothered to cycle out the water heater. Hard water led to a buildup over one of the coils and it burst, popped a hole in the side of the thing and nearly flooded out my garage. 6 months after an inspector said everything about the whole house was grade A peachy keen.
Reply number 5 to comment number 2 by Pickle Not a Big Dill 225 days ago. Not even her house. His house. Her name wasn't signed for. Someone responds to comment number 2 by Imaginary Stop 225 days ago. My first thought too. It's like, your reaction to this is wrong, and here's why. People like that lack basic empathy or any ability to see things from another's perspective.
Reply number 7 to comment number 2 by Super Saiyan Noob 225 days ago. She tried to talk about it, he argued. She said fuck it and left. Then he's complaining that he just wants to talk it over when she tried, and he denied her instantly.
A reply to the previous reply by Long Winter Coming 225 days ago. This is exactly it. She wanted to talk. He shut it down. So when she shut everything down, he suddenly wants to talk. Screw that.
Someone responds to comment number 2 by This Design Up 225 days ago, and GT. The light bulb did not go on with him that you don't make decisions like this without the other person. It doesn't even matter if it was okay to do that. His partner told him that he didn't like it, and then argued with her about her own feelings and opinions. You can't tell someone how they feel is wrong, because it's how they feel.
comment number 3 by illustrious_bird 9234 225 days ago. NTA. Making a major life decision without you isn't a good way to start a marriage. It also sets a precedent for the marriage. Not only is it a surprise house, it's a surprise fixer-upper that's not even a gift. That's a job. And I don't think anyone really thinks their partner wants to be left out of a choice like that. Someone responds to comment number 3 by MCA 2021 225 days ago, and most likely she wasn't on the title if he already purchased it. NTA.
Follow up in the thread by natural_lifeguard 44,225 days ago. That was my takeaway too. He buys it himself, and it is not marital property. A reply to the previous reply by OK Beelzebub 666,225 days ago, which also means it is not marital property if they divorce down the road. I also bet she will be expected to pay for renovations.
A reply to the previous reply by Impression Ill 2655225 days ago. Not having her title on a junk heap may not be the worst thing for OP. She made the right decision to walk away. If she ever took him back, she should demand a prenup to protect her from his rash decisions. She does need to confirm that her name is not on the deed. If it is, she needs to get her name off of it. She should lock down her credit as well. Continuing the conversation by redditstories WWYD 225 days ago. Boat cough trees, quickest automatic marvelous dependent pie abundant grab. This post was mass deleted and anonymized with redact. https://redact. dev/home, nice.
First reply on comment number 3 by Nature Carolyn Gate 225 days ago. Oh, now he wants to talk OP's ex. I'm going to do something selfish and unilateral because I know better than her and this doesn't affect me in a negative way. Wait, what, you are leaving me? This affects me in a negative manner. We need to talk. Reply number 3 to comment number 3 by deleted 225 days ago. Removed. Someone responds to comment number 3 by deleted 225 days ago. Removed.
A reply to the previous reply by MNTH 241,225 days ago. My guess is that he knows exactly what she would have said to buying a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town, which of course is why he orchestrated it as a surprise, nanad. It was very manipulative, especially to springing it at a party where she would be expected to comply. No, thank you.
A reply to the previous reply by deleted 225 days ago. Removed.
Continuing the conversation by Needle in a Straw Stack 225 days ago. He probably figured she would say no and went down the best to ask forgiveness than permission road. Betting on the fact that with the wedding so near, she was now locked in and would just have to accept it.
A reply to the previous reply by deleted 225 days ago. Deleted.
Someone responds to comment number 3 by Q3HL Chick 225 days ago. This. And he bought it before they got married. Maybe I am a bit paranoid on myself, but what if he has her help renovate it, and then they divorce? She doesn't get a say in it. First reply on comment number 3 by Hopeful Tangerine 5913225 days ago, and I'm guessing it's only in his name since he left OP out of the process entirely. I don't love how quickly Reddit jumps to dump him, but this is pretty damn bad. Something very similar happened to someone I care about, and it caused a great deal of stress to her as an individual, but also to their relationship. I do not think they would still be married if it wasn't for their religious beliefs, and that decision and all it implies is a big part of why. Someone responds to comment number 3 by Glass GRL 1021225 days ago. Not to mention that, unless he has the means to immediately hire out the work, he is likely also banking on her to help with the renovation she didn't sign up for. I'd be pissed too.
Someone responds to comment number 3 by Inimitable Me 225 days ago. As an addendum to this, he ambushed OP with this gift in front of people so she had to manage her reaction for company. Best case, he doesn't know or respect her taste and made a giant financial decision without his future partner. Worst case, he knew she wouldn't like it, but assumed that she would have to act grateful in public, so he got his way. Either way, ick.
Someone responds to comment number 3 by Deep Sleep Sheep Meep 225 days ago. Surprise. I just put us hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt without consulting you. As my wife, you'll be responsible for the debt too.
First reply on comment number 3 by cautious_session 9788 225 days ago. The fiancé watches too much The Office and probably thought himself to be a Jim in the moment.
Continuing the conversation by Kayakstracon 225 days ago. I hated the storyline of Jim romantically buying his parents' house without telling Pam. What is romantic about feeling like you are not worthy about being included in magic life decisions with your partner? Same as the storyline of Jim changing careers and starting a business with telling his wife. Pam deserved to be treated better. A reply to the previous reply by LAC_NOS 225 days ago. Or, my big fat Greek wedding, where the parents give them the house next door. But at least then, the couple didn't have the debt. So dear people, TV and movies are not real. Things that are romantic on TV often are controlling or creepy in real life. And home renovations are a commitment to spend 100% of your time outside work on this project. For at least a year. Actually, it's 110% of your free time, because days off work means getting up earlier than you want and going to sleep later. Someone responds to comment number 3 by deleted 225 days ago, removed. Follow up in the thread by deleted 225 days ago, removed. Continuing the conversation by Love Me Furry Fam 225 days ago. Given what the budget set for the wedding pre-house purchase versus post-house purchase breaks the piggy bank. That's a lot of debt. Especially the fixer-upper isn't cheap for major repairs, inspection, renovations, having all the bells and amp, whistles to plumbing, fixtures, etc., etc., etc. OP did the wise course of calling off her wedding.
A reply to the previous reply by Character Twist 1409 225 days ago. In this case, both the disregarding input and the actual purchase he chose are concerning.
Reply number 12 to comment number 3 by whybother_insert name 225 days ago. Honey, surprise. I sold the house and amp. We're moving to insert anywhere. OPNTA. This dude wants a lapdog to follow him and amp. Do whatever he wants. He will never consider your thoughts and amp feelings when making decisions.
Someone responds to comment number 3 by deleted 225 days ago, removed. Follow up in the thread by deleted 225 days ago. This. OP, you just avoided many years of this behavior. Make no mistake. This was the first time he did this, but a similar scenario would have played out many different ways in the future. NTA. What do you say to him and others? He decided to purchase a house without my input. A major breach of trust. He decided to purchase not just a house, a rundown fixer-upper that will require copious amounts of time and money without discussing it with me. He decided my opinion was not important. He made a major life decision that will severely impact my time, my financial resources, and our ability to begin our life on firm financial footing without discussing any of it with me, and certainly without my agreement or consent. He does not view me as a partner deserving of a voice in making financial decisions. Sis, you dodged a major bullet. When you explain it that way to people, especially the last 2 ways, people will better understand why you called off your wedding.
Follow up in the thread by Lawgirl1975 days ago. At this point, I'd be glad my name wasn't on the deed for a house like that. It's the only nice thing he did in this whole thing.
Continuing the conversation by Kface 278,225 days ago. Agreed. Definite lack of understanding for a relationship and marriage. Lots of immaturity for a 32-year-old. At first I was like, this isn't malicious. But I would second guess marrying somebody who made big stupid financial decisions impulsively.
Reply number 14 to comment number 3 by TightShift5706 225 days ago. Dear God, OP. The guy is 32 ficking years old and doesn't have the sense of a 20-year-old. Lifetime partner? Uh-huh. Move on. Let the clown remain back at the circus.
Reply number 15 to comment number 3 by Awkward Tourist 979,225 days ago. You're right, it's not a gift. It's a job, and her name isn't even on the deed. Utterly disgusting behavior on his part.
First reply on comment number 3 by 1,000 Little Pies 225 days ago. Plus, telling you how you should feel about it shows a distinct lack of empathy.
Comment number 4 by ID Mike 2008222 5 days ago. NTA. Some people really don't understand that movies and TV are not real life. It sounds like Mark may be one of them.
First reply on comment number 4 by Cap Oak 7564222 5 days ago. At least in the movies, the guy sometimes buys back to love interests like childhood home or something. That's the only house, I'd be okay, being surprised with LMAO.
Continuing the conversation by deleted 225 days ago. Personally, the red flag isn't the house for me. If the person I am going to marry gets defensive because I feel hurt, that's just alarm bells. If she said, "This hurt me," and he responds, "Okay, I missed the mark. My fault and I didn't want you to feel like this. How do we proceed and talk about this?" I would think OP is throwing away a really good thing, assuming the conversation doesn't go toxic. At the same time, though, IDK their financial situation. I read and talk money a lot, and I'm well aware finances are #1 cause of divorce. So maybe it's gigantic leap their portfolio couldn't handle that. IDK. It just rubs me wrong that someone you love tells you they are hurt, and your response is, "You just don't understand." I think sometimes guys will build up a gesture in their head, but it's not about intent. It's about how it's received. It was received poorly. The brakes should be slammed on everything until the negative feeling is addressed. Telling someone who just told you they feel hurt that they don't understand the bigger picture is just fucking wild. To the ex-fiancé. The bigger picture of marriage is that when your partner is hurt, you are there for them and listen. Not diminish their feelings and tell them they don't understand. Follow up in the thread by Corvanacor 225 days ago. At the very least, did Mark throw rocks at the house when he and OP walked past it? First reply on comment number 4 by Tiger Breeze 225 days ago. His response is a bit telling. If he was shocked/sorry, I might have allowed for overexcited but dumb guy. His defaulting right to defensiveness says that he knew what he was doing.
Comment number 5 by Dubious People Pleaser 225 days ago. So what was his plan? The house would be in his name only while you padded his pockets by investing hard work and money into fixing up his shitty house? NTA.
Reply number 1 to comment number 5 by deleted 225 days ago. Removed. Follow up in the thread by deleted 225 days ago. Removed. Follow up in the thread by basic_Bichette 225 days ago. And the house being at the edge of town might result in her transportation choices being limited. Reply number 2 to comment number 5 by Corfiz 74,225 days ago. Not to mention living on a construction site for the next decade and putting every available minute and penny into renovations. You enjoy traveling? You wanted kids? Forget that until the house is finished.
Continuing the conversation by Awkward Tourist 979,225 days ago, it was his way of controlling her, which is why the house is on the outskirts of town. First reply on comment number 5 by Awkward Tourist 979,225 days ago. Of course this was his plan. That's why he made it a premarital asset. He was never going to even put her name on the deed. No doubt he would want her prepping and painting walls, pulling up disgusting carpet, and digging up weeds in the garden. Men like this usually have their name on the biggest asset. I don't doubt that he intended to finance the renovations, but when they move in, it would be the OP's responsibility to pay for all of the furniture, electrical, kitchen, and decorator items, so that in the event they divorce, she gets the used chattels while he keeps the house, which was always in his name, so that it appreciates in value while the chattels depreciate in value. The house would always be his. The OP did the right thing walking away. Comment number 6 by Hummus_Sapiens 225 days ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if he bought the house without you, then it is in his name. He is the sole owner. But he wants you to help pay for the renovations? Nope, bad move. If the marriage fails, it's still his house, and you'll be left with nothing. ETA. Thanks a lot. You/Twinkie Mama. Edit 2. Thank you, user with the complicated name. Edit 3. And another thank you to you/Hanover6. Edit 4. You know where this is going, right? You/Gotham Green Goddess. Edit X. Too many names to remember them all. Kiss mark. May you all have very happy, drama-free holidays.
First reply on comment number 6 by Demir Damsel 122,225 days ago. Carrot this. Buying a surprise house before marriage means it is his house. Follow up in the thread by Ajumawi 225 days ago. Surprise.
Follow up in the thread by deleted 225 days ago. Removed. Follow up in the thread by Thalric 88,225 days ago. No, You missed the big picture, where he unilaterally decided to buy a dump in the edge of town for them. Nothing says, I love you and want to spend the rest of my life with you, like disregarding any agency or capacity for self-determination.
First reply on comment number 6 by Raise Ire Set Fires 225 days ago. My grandma described this as a to you from me for me gift.
Reply number 3 to comment number 6 by Helpful Situation 225 days ago. That's state/province dependent. In my province, even a common law spouse has rights to a marital property, even if only one party's name is on the deed. Follow up in the thread by Deleted 225 days ago. After 2 years in BC, but she'll have to spend thousands to get back a minor amount that she can try to claim, and only if she keeps track of every penny she puts in. And even then, she didn't pay a down payment portion. Claiming sweat equity for a space you also gotta live in and enjoy isn't easy, and the process takes months and years if he contests it.
A reply to the previous reply by Structure Key 2739225 days ago. Hubby can get a skilled lawyer that can go for OP's throat. Marital property rights, though real, is not a guarantee that OP will get anything.
Comment number 7 by no_beyond_199522 days ago. NTA, you didn't overreact at all. The foundation of a solid marriage isn't love, it's open communication. Mark made a life-altering decision without talking to you at all. You were right to feel blindsided and crushed. It's also not a great sign that Mark argued with you after you'd explained your feelings to him. You mentioned that he sometimes takes things too far in the name of surprise. Has he ever made choices without you that you were impacted by? Does he usually get defensive when you try to communicate your feelings? You 100% made the right decision to call off the wedding? But it might be worth having one more face-to-face talk with Mark. If nothing else, it might help you feel more secure in your choice to end the relationship. Someone responds to comment number 7 by Basis Diva _1966225 days ago. A surprise is a vacation, or a gift of jewelry, etc. you were not expecting. Not a effing house. Follow up in the thread by Jennifer Moore 67,225 days ago. Surprise! It's a mortgage.
Follow up in the thread by Individual Green 684,225 days ago. Nah. He bought himself a house she would not be entitled to any part of if they divorced after marriage. She didn't know about it, which means she didn't sign anything, and her name is not on the deed as owner. She did the right thing in calling off the wedding cause he's not interested in securing a shared future.
Follow up in the thread by Transportation No 5560225 days ago. A money pit at that. OP is definitely NTA.
Comment number 8 by Veta Got Me Falling In 225 days ago. Obviously AI. As I processed the moment, I realized the house wasn't just any house. It was a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town. How does processing the moment while looking at a key allow you to figure out what the house hit? I guess the most charitable interpretation is that there was a keychain with the address, but even then, it seems far-fetched that she would know about a specific house of that type.
Someone responds to comment number 8 by Cubby Red 225 days ago. Yep, this story is total baloney. She didn't know he was looking for real estate but knew all these details about this house? Okay.
Reply number 2 to comment number 8 by Rube2709 225 days ago. As I processed this post, I was utterly shocked that the top comments are all from gullible Reddit users, thinking this fake karma farming post is something that really happened. Follow up in the thread by Purple 3492 225 days ago. Imagine my surprise when I realized there were others who, like me, had seen through this poor attempt to deceive the masses. My heart began to race with excitement as I thought, Finally, a group of like-minded individuals to share this moment with The exchange of thoughts amongst the comment thread felt sweet, like a heartfelt gift or romantic gesture. Reply number 3 to comment number 8 by Gritsgravy 225 days ago. Yeah, totally smells like AI generated. I was a bit surprised I needed to scroll that far down to find this. Reply number 4 to comment number 8 by Maston's Ghost 225 days ago. Seems mildly insane that someone grabs their partner to chat outside, away from their group of friends, and then notifies the entire group that the wedding is off in the same night.
First reply on comment number 8 by Miss Starsong 225 days ago. Thank you. Had to scroll through too many replies before anyone else saw through this. First reply on comment number 8 by Daddy Long Legolas 225 days ago. These AI posts are as formulaic as Hallmark movies now. I'll say it again, Zeitgeist Milkshake.
First reply on comment number 8 by another account 4. This 225 days ago. Need a TIAI, this is AI, option for all the threads. LOL. Comment number 9 by Babamum 225 days ago. I'm calling AI on this one.
Reply number 1 to comment number 9 by CC Harrywaves 225 days ago. I was reading it and my immediate thought was, I wrote this.
Reply number 2 to comment number 9 by Svensson _ 26,225 days ago. The biggest red flag for me was how she opened up the present to see a key. And, as she processed it, she realized it was a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town. Then she pulled him aside to talk. How did you know what house it was? Did you memorize the key shape of every house in town? Continuing the conversation by Content Scallion 591,225 days ago. Exactly. I hope people have some critical thinking. But I think people don't care as much about the original post as they do about making their opinions known.
Someone responds to comment number 9 by 2 Bionic Knees 225 days ago. The language is 100% the same. It both conveys no emotional or, frankly, personality, while using overly emotional language in a very clinical way. Firstly, taken aback is still, in every fucking AI post, every single one, no one fucking says that. As I processed the moment, they realized what the house was and realized how much work it needed. Was he explaining this? Because you can't just know these things as you process looking at a key. In fact, it makes little to no sense that he would explain in every last detail how much work it needed, nor would he make it sound shitty in the moment at a dinner by talking about how terrible it was. This part just makes no actual sense at all. Who would end the relationship that night at the dinner party without time to reflect, discuss it, and give him a chance to realize what he did was a mistake? No one. This isn't, hey, I brought you here because I'm a cuck, now fuck this dude and let me watch. Yeah, walk out and lose his number, but this isn't that. It's absolute bullshit, and everyone reacting like it's not, is, painful. You can go, hey, this is fully fake, but the concept of a partner who bought a house without any input is crazy, but dumping them the same evening without taking some time and see if they can realize what they did was wrong, it's ridiculous.
Continuing the conversation by deleted 225 days ago. And also, engaged for a year and a party to celebrate the upcoming wedding? The wedding that isn't mentioned at all. Who does that?
A reply to the previous reply by Coyote Feisty 225 days ago. Exactly this. Processing that it was a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town in the moment? Get out of here.
Someone responds to comment number 9 by Isidewadi Sidok 225 days ago. Me too. Big time. No one talks like this. LMAOI made the gut-wrenching decision. Mark was devastated and our friends were shocked. But I can't shake the feeling. In quick succession, we were subjected to some of the most cliché lines you could possibly shit out. A reply to the previous reply by LL8844773225 5 days ago. I couldn't get past 3 sentences. BC, it sounded so fake. Someone responds to comment number 9 by Riemansphere 225 days ago. I put it through several AI text detectors. I know they are generally unreliable, which is why I used at least 5 separate apps, all from different companies. All of them flagged pretty much the exact same blocks of text in the post.
Reply number 6 to comment number 9 by Feed the Chonk 225 days ago. Yep. Seemed fishy after I've always known Mark to be a bit unconventional. Who writes personal stories like that? I stopped at her heart racing in anticipation of a bracelet. I'm no expert of human emotions, but having your heart race when seeing what looks like a jewelry box after getting engaged doesn't feel real to me. I wouldn't be surprised if AI models are trained on novels as opposed to everyday texts. The language and the setup for some reveal is an example of creative writing at best, not a real story. That's not how people discuss their problems in day-to-day life.
Reply number 7 to comment number 9 by Offbeat Chaos 225 days ago. It's like every post now. This subreddit is absolutely pointless. It's all AI crap. The entire subreddit.
A reply to the previous reply by Candice Elias 225 days ago. Agreed. It would be nice if the mods actually removed bullshit like this, because this sub has quickly become AICHATGPT. Someone responds to comment number 9 by Candice Elise 225 days ago. Fucking finally someone who isn't falling for this bullshit. It's so clear it's written by AI plus brand new account less than a day old equals totally fake. Reply number 9 to comment number 9 by whatever cheese 225 days ago. Thank you. It's very obvious, plus the account was just newly made. Trying to gather up some karmas so they can sell the account in the future. SMH.
Someone responds to comment number 9 by Jackadaleen 225 days ago. That's what I thought. She didn't know he was looking at real estate. Yet immediately, from seeing the key apparently, she realized the house was a fixer-upper in the wrong part of town. No mention of her fiancé telling her these things. She came to the realization. How? The story has holes. Someone responds to comment number 9 by Bold Fonts 225 days ago. Definitely. I've seen tons of these, and I usually get blowback from people who don't see what we can see.
Comment number 10 by Independent.9692222 5 days ago. Someone watched The Office one too many times.
First reply on comment number 10 by Rude Manufacturer 635,225 days ago, and took none of the lessons/understanding of red flags that particular episode should impart.
Someone responds to comment number 10 by Altbacont 225 days ago, and that someone was ChatGPT.
Comment number 11 by Mr. Greaves 225 days ago. Fake ChatGPT shit. So many markers. Comment number 12 by Doodoo Browns 225 days ago. As I processed the moment, I realized the house wasn't just any house. It was a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town. How do you get all that from a key in a box? Oh, I know, 'cause none of that happened and you're a liar for meaningless internet points. First reply on comment number 12 by Gittenforce 225 days ago. It's AI generated. Comment number 13 by Beak_R 225 days ago. NTA. You're never wrong for deciding not to marry someone. You don't need a reason, and you don't need to justify it to anyone. Simply saying, I no longer want to spend my life with this person, is all the reason you need. There will be fallout, and you're going to lose a few friends, but you still won't be the AH. And you didn't ruin the evening. Mark ruined it by making a huge financial decision without you. Comment number 14 by Solanaland 225 days ago. Info. How did you look at the key and realize that the house was a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town? Face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes.
Someone responds to comment number 14 by Metal_Bastard 225 days ago, because this is another bullshit AI post.
Someone responds to comment number 14 by Toad Cola 225 days ago. Thank you, a human reply. I'll ask everyone else here a logical paradox. You run for the door. Comment number 15 by Dorsey B 225 days ago. Get out of here with this fake creative story. It feels like a huge, yeah, right, and reads like I wrote it.
Someone responds to comment number 15 by Interesting Mug 225 days ago. It's SO obviously AI. One time I was trying to make a fake AITA with AI just to see what it would come up with, and it was written just like this. It's something about the perfect, bland, soulless writing. I even asked mine to pepper the AITA with spelling errors to make it seem real, and it just ignored that request.
Continuing the conversation by Toad Cola 225 days ago. My human soulmate has acted unpredictably. I have terminated our association. I feel sad. Is my sadness appropriate, and is human male in breach of our adult human emotional contract? 80% of the comments are equally soulless. 18% could be gullible humans, and I found a handful of actual real people. Save yourself while you can. I'll start yelling ones and amp, zeros to distract them.
Reply number 2 to comment number 15 by NSGod 225 days ago, NGT. My heart raced with excitement asterisk as I assumed it was a lovely bracelet or a special memento for our wedding day. Seriously, who the fuck writes like this in a legitimate AITAH post on Reddit? How can people read that and not have red flags going off in their head that this is BS? Yet, try to call it out in any of the top comments here and you'll get downvoted to hell.
Someone responds to comment number 15 by Minimus 67,225 days ago. Had to scroll down too far to see this. At least it's not total rage bait. But aside from the AI sounding pros, two other aspects of this scenario seem questionable. This scenario is straight out of an episode of The Office, when Jim secretly buys his childhood home from his parents, and Pam is unhappy because the house is a dump. There's a fairly long and financially complicated process that has to occur before the seller of a house hands over the key to the buyer, as supposedly happened here. That process is so involved, it's hard to keep it a secret. The buyer usually needs to choose a real estate broker, communicate with him or her regularly by phone about potential properties on the market, go to look at multiple homes that are for sale, conduct back and forth with buyer's broker to negotiate price and terms with the seller, make a significant down payment once an offer is accepted, hire and pay for a home inspector to look for structural problems, apply to a bank for a mortgage, get an appraisal done as required by the bank issuing the mortgage, hire a real estate lawyer, pay for a title search as required by the mortgage lender, conduct a final inspection where buyer, buyer's broker, and seller's broker are present, and attend the closing where buyer, seller, their lawyers, and representatives. When the closing is complete, and not before, the seller hands over the key to the buyer. Given the complexity of a typical house purchase, it seems really unlikely that Fiancée could have done all this and kept it a secret from the OP unless they seldom see each other and OP knows nothing about her fiancé's finances.
Comment number 16 by Vigoya 2,225 days ago. He didn't even consider your feelings. He thought he did a great thing and bought a money pit that will take up your money and time for a long while. He didn't think it through, which is a bad trait and very immature. Comment number 17 by OK Independence 5335 225 days ago. NTA. Making this major decision without you is bad enough, but denying your feelings about it just compounds the issue. Unless he can genuinely see why what he did was wrong, then canceling the wedding is the correct thing. Comment number 18 by More Keytar 225 days ago. The writing style feels very AI. Just me? Reply number 1 to comment number 18 by Interesting Mug 225 days ago. Very clearly AI. I can't believe I wasted my time reading like 2 paragraphs of this. First reply on comment number 18 by Tight Austinite 225 days ago. Our old account. 100% AI. This sub is near useless.